All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going on a journey through some really powerful concepts that can help us all build better products. And maybe even more importantly, how to talk about them in a way that actually connects with people. We're going to go from finding the real problem all the way to crafting solutions that people genuinely love. And everything really starts with this one core idea. This quote from Jeff Patton. It's the foundation for our entire conversation. When you boil it all down, building great things isn't really about the code or the features. It's about getting everyone on the same page, about creating a shared understanding of what we're building and, crucially, why it matters. So, let's start with a problem that probably feels a little too familiar no matter what you do. It's the silent killer of so many great ideas, the communication breakdown. This is our what, the situation we're actually dealing with day in and day out. Do you remember that game from when you were a kid? You whisper a message to the person next to you, and by the time it gets to the end of the line, it's just complete nonsense. Well, that's not just a kid's game. It happens every single day in business. An amazing vision gets passed from one person to the next, and at each step, a little bit of the magic, a little bit of the original intent just gets lost. And what do we end up with? A scrambled mess of what the idea was supposed to be. So, how in the world do we fix this game of telephone? This right here is our so what moment. Why does this breakdown matter so much? Because if we don't get this right, we end up building the wrong things. The trick is to stop focusing so much on the message being passed along and start focusing on the reason we're building it in the first place. And that leads us to this incredible idea called jobs to be done from the brilliant Clayton Christensen. It's so simple, but it changes everything. The idea is that customers don't just buy products, they hire them to make progress in their lives. They have a specific job they need to get done, and they're just looking for the best tool for that job. So the question you have to ask is this: what progress is your customer actually trying to make? Are they hiring your app to feel more in control? Maybe to look smart in a meeting? Or are they just trying to save 15 minutes so they can get home to their family a little earlier? When you understand that deep down motivation, that's when you can build something they truly can't imagine living without. Okay, so once we understand the job, we need a real toolkit to help us build the right solution. Let's dig into a couple of frameworks that are fantastic for analyzing the problem and figuring out what's really going to matter to people. One of my favorite tools for this is the Kano model. It helps us tackle a huge question. Are all features created equal? And the answer is a big, resounding no. This model helps us stop looking at a giant list of features and start understanding how different types of features actually make customers feel. First, you've got your must-haves. Think of these as the absolute basics, the ticket to the game. When you check into a hotel, you just expect the sheets to be clean. You don't jump for joy when they are, but you'd be pretty upset if they weren't. Their absence causes dissatisfaction, but their presence just brings you to neutral. They're just expectations. Then we have performance features. This one is pretty straightforward. The more you give, the happier people get. Think about the battery life on your phone or the gas mileage in your car. Better performance leads directly to more satisfaction. This is where a lot of the competition usually happens. And finally, this is where the magic really is. The delighters. These are the wonderful, unexpected things that create pure joy. Like the very first time you used a map app and it automatically rerouted you around a traffic jam. You didn't even know to ask for it. If it's not there, nobody minds. But when it is, wow, that's how you create true fans. This all highlights a super important distinction. We have to spend time in the problem space first, where our only job is to focus on the customer and do the right thing. Only after we've done that have we earned the right to jump into the solution space and focus on the product and doing the thing right. So many teams skip straight to building without ever really understanding the problem. And how do you explore that problem space? Well, you have a massive toolkit available to you. This is just a tiny taste, right? From deep interviews to testing prototypes to just getting out there and visiting people where they are. The goal isn't to master every single one, but to know there are a ton of ways to learn before you ever write a line of code. One of the simplest but most powerful tools in that kit is the 5 whys. When you run into a problem, don't just take the first answer you get. Ask why. And then for that answer, ask why again. You keep digging, usually about 5 times, and you'll blow past all the surface level symptoms and get to the actual root cause. It is a total game changer. Okay, so you've understood the job to be done. You've used your toolkit. You've built something that actually has value. We're now at the final crucial step, the now what. It's time to communicate that value in a way that people will listen to, remember, and actually act on. And for that, the success model is an amazing guide. It's basically a checklist to help your ideas survive that game of telephone. Is your message simple? Is it unexpected, concrete, credible? Does it make people feel something? Is it emotional? And finally, are you telling it as a story? Running your message through this filter is a great way to make sure it lands with real impact. But communication isn't just about giving a presentation. It's about getting back to that shared understanding, especially when the pressure is on. When things get a little tense, having some intentional phrases in your back pocket, like, help me understand your perspective, can totally change the dynamic. It can turn a conflict into a collaboration. So, when you tie all of these ideas together, you realize these aren't just abstract theories. They are practical tools for creating a clear, deliberate path forward for you, your team, and your entire organization. I absolutely love this quote from Ben Horowitz because it captures the whole point. It's so easy to get stuck in reactive mode, just putting out fires all day. But the tools we've been talking about, like understanding the real job to be done, they're all designed to shift your focus from just avoiding problems to actively building towards a future that you're excited about. So I want to leave you with one final thought, a personal challenge. What's one thing in your work right now that you're maybe doing at a 4 out of 10 level, but if you really applied some of these ideas and got it up to a 9, it would make a huge, massive difference? Answering that question for yourself, well, that's the real start of progress. Thanks for hanging out with me.